my doctor said, take this. I looked at it and I said, well, the side effects are really bad and it says death. He says, well, it really doesn't mean that. I said, he did. He told me. He said, it really doesn't mean that. They just have to put that on there. You think I'm dumb, don't you? Amen. So I just said, no, I'm not taking it. I'll just eat off an iron skillet. Okay. Years ago, Dr. Wallach was hired as a wildlife veterinarian for Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. They had a huge grant from the United States government to go around to the zoos around the country. And basically in the 60s or 70s, they were trying to discover the effects of pollution. I think there was a mercury poisoning. So they wanted to find out the effects of pollution on animals' life cycle. And basically, Dr. Wallach was called because he was one of the only people qualified because he knew human physiology as well as animal, okay? And Wallach found out actually the normal pollution didn't have an effect on the life cycle. It was actually, if you had a lot of pollution, like if you lived down the stream from 3 Mile Island, then yeah, you know, but just normal everyday pollution. But he found out that when the animals died of natural causes, they died of a nutritional deficiency. Now, these are some facts to consider. Many of the diseases that people suffer with today were cured or prevented in animals. Like, there's some diseases called like white muscle or stiff limb disease. They changed the name, so it's called fibromyalgia in us. And so that can be just eradicated real quickly, but when you don't know, because they do that in animals, why? Because insurance doesn't, apply to animals. They got to keep the food costs down. And so that way we can afford to go get our cheeseburger, right? All right. But yeah, they can use the word cure when it comes to animals, when it comes to like minerals and vitamins and herbs and stuff like that, but we can't use the word cure when it comes to people unless you're using poison jelly beans. So you see Dr. Wallach learned, okay, I said all that. Basically, we have to also understand and recognize truth when we hear it. So I want you to think about what you're dealing with and be open and honest and talk to us, because I'm going to do a question and answer at the end. As a matter of fact, Tim, can someone pass out this assessment? I forgot to do this. I got on the other side here some health assessments here, and all you need is a pen or pencil. There's a couple of them over there. All right, now this is Dr. Wallach when he was doing the work. What he did was he found out what to do with animals first, like you said, because they need a lot of nutrients. And he was whether it was elephants or rhinoceroses or whatever it was, lions, tigers, bears, oh my, he worked on it. And this is his body of research. He has a book in the Smithsonian, so this is not something just, off the cuff. He has a book in the Smithsonian called Diseases of Exotic Animals, where he did the $25 million government grant research and found out all this stuff from 1971 to 1983. He did 26,000 autopsies. There's basically no one has done that. 10 million blood chemistries and histopathologies and stuff like that. And so the veterinarians and the zoos still use this body of research and information. He was responsible for, I think, for helping to animals to breed that they were having problems with. I think the pandas and the different things, the problems that they would have. He solved a lot of those things. And like I said, up to 900 different health issues are related to nutritional deficiencies. We're not getting the dust of the ground we're supposed to be getting. See, that goes right back to the scriptures. See, if we're made from the dust of the ground, I want you to think about this, because most of us don't think like this. If I'm made from the dust of the ground, right, what is going to repair the dust of the ground issues? Man. We'll go right to the pharmacy line and be mad, won't we?
That's right.
Because we're the only one in line and they taking forever to get to us.
That's right.
Why do they take so long? Then they got those vitamins A through Z.
Right.
And you trying to pick one. God didn't design it that way. He designed it so that you can get as much as you can from the dirt and the soil and the minerals. All right? And if you don't believe me, just go to Google. The U.S. document number 264, written in 1936, says that our farm soils have been depleted of vital nutrients we need. So because of this, the soil depletion, it is impossible to get the 90 essential nutrients we need. Okay? So if you go there, document number 264, 1936. Now, there was an article came out in 1985, And it said, Mr. West Howard describes the increasing pace of destruction of farmland since World War II. As modern agribusiness applies the technology of the steel mill to the living soil, he writes, American technology took over 65 million acres out of cropland, out of production, so that we will not allow the land to rest anymore. And American technology reduced the number of farms to about 500,000. Then we allowed hundreds of billions of tons of topsoil to erode into the oceans. Then we lowered our national water reserves to near drought levels. Then we poisoned our waterways with Raid and Roundup. And then we quadrupled the price of food, and we say we're smart. And then Leviticus is sitting there saying, no, you don't have to obey it as a ceremonial law, but you still got a physical body, and you're going to be subject to not letting the land rest. I don't care who you are. I don't care how many tongues you speak in. You still, because like you said, when Jesus healed somebody, folk had to keep living, right?
That's right.
All right? If they made dumb decisions after getting healed, what happens?
They pay for it.
See, that's what we don't talk about.
That's right. True.
You know. We have to be real. Now, this is what happened. When Thomas Edison invented the light, it was in 18-something. I don't know the exact date. Anyway. But before then, we used to use wood. I remember Mom shoveling coal into the coal thing on Indianapolis Avenue. The coal truck would come around, and we would use that to heat our home. Now, I was too little, so I would just look at it. I ain't going in that basement. But she would go down there and shovel, you know. And so then we had a red barrel in the back, right? Everybody had a red barrel. We would burn our trash, right? Everybody over 30, 35, 40, we understand. And so those ashes are not ashes. They're plant minerals because coal is wood, you know. And then we would burn wood to heat our homes and cook with. All those ashes, when we stopped using wood as a primary source, that was our nutrition that we just didn't replace. Then we put 75,000 dams, somewhere around there, into like our rivers so that we could generate power and all that. Well, we lost the flooding and the soot that would be left. And so now we don't have the river soot or the wood ashes, and the plants have been sucking everything up since 1975, our nutritional stuff. This is why type 2 diabetes and arthritis is getting off the hook.
Yes.
And we think it's a medicine deficiency. No. It's because it's not in the soil. But the plants only need about 3 nutrients, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium to grow. We need 90 nutrients to stay healthy. So they can grow the grains and everything, but guess what they do for the animals? They put in those animal pellets, you've seen that at the fair, right? Those little ugly pellets. Yeah. Anyone taste it? No, just kidding. Those little pellets, they put the nutrients in them for the animals. What do we get? We don't get that. We get we get to go to the hospital.
Right.
Okay. So we have to wake up. Now, this was a 100-year study from 1914 to 2014. This is on the internet. Basically, the Department of Agriculture has basically backed up Dr. Wiley. They said that according to the Nutritional Security Institute, the U.S. soil is eroding 10 times faster than it can be replenished. Researchers who compile reports from around the world conclude that the U.S. agricultural soil has been depleted of 85% of its minerals and vitamins during the last 100 years. Other parts of the globe report similar or worse conditions. The soil lacks the nutrition to keep people healthy, and they become susceptible to disease, said report authors. Okay, so this is a government study that they're not telling you about. It's out there. They put it out there, but they don't tell everyone. So what we need to stay healthy is not in the food. Mm-hmm. So a prayer line, God will touch and move. Right. After that, you can't just say, okay, I'm done. But that's what we do, right? Right. And right. God moves. I'm not saying he doesn't, but then when God did everything he did, he said, Adam, you go do what? He's still saying it to us, and we saying, nope. I ain't going to do it. He says, okay, well, you're subject to the repercussions. Like I said, yes, I believe in divine healing, and yes, I believe in a supernatural healing from God in the name of Jesus Christ, according to the scriptures, but what we're missing is the natural healing part. Now, this is going to mess you up. These 2 scriptures here blew my mind. I got another one, too. It says, he causes the grass to grow for the cattle, right? Uh-huh. And we know when it's raining, they grow extra fast, don't they?
Yep.
So I got to cut my grass. Okay. It's true. The words is true because I see. And the herb, that's plant medicine, for the service of man. But where do we go get our service at? That's it. But God didn't do that. We did it. Yep. So what's going to be the results? Messed up. I don't sound theological, but it's jacked up. That's going to be the results. He says he causes the grass to grow for the cattle and the herb for the service of man. Now, the Amplified Bible, Proverbs 18:9, if you got your Bibles, you can check to see if I made it up. It says, he who is loose and slack in his work is a brother to him who is a destroyer. And he who does not use his endeavors to heal himself is a brother to him who commits suicide. Man. That means if you don't take the herb and the natural stuff, I will supply all your needs according to my riches and glory, and learn how to heal yourself. Yes. And Home Depot some of your own health, like I do for my own family and those that will listen, unclogged, that will listen, then you're like a suicidal maniac, according to the scriptures.
That's right.
When did we ever hear that preached? Pastors.
Never.
I love y'all. All right. Another scripture. Now, you're going to say he's got it out of context. Now, I understand the millennial part of it, and I know who I'm standing in front of, the millennial issue dealing with the Jews and all that. But look at it from a dimensional standpoint, or just from a natural standpoint, okay? Just for a second, all right? It says, and by the river upon the bank thereof, on this side and on that side shall grow all trees for meat. Did y'all know that you can use some trees and eat them, do some things with them? If you take some, how many people use maple syrup? Have you ever took the maple leaf and made tea from it? See, he told you it's right here. It's so good. And it blew my mind how it tastes. You almost don't have to put sugar in it. It's there for you. Pine trees, same thing, vitamin C. Okay. Whose leaf shall not fade. What causes a leaf to fade? When you overuse the soil and have to put fertilizer in it. But the leaf doesn't fade when it's telling you right here. Neither shall the fruit be consumed. What causes the fruit to be consumed? When the bugs sense that the plant doesn't have enough immune system because the soil's weak, then they can, because plants have natural immunity. And where do we get our immune system from? I got to eat the dirt through the plants. So the better my dirt is, the better the plant is, the better my system is. All right? This is scripture. This is how God calls me to see stuff. It shall bring forth new fruit according to its must. Oops! It can't be genetically modified.
That's good.
And when something's genetically modified, it doesn't uptake as much nutrition, by the way. Because the water's the issue out of the sanctuary, it means it don't have fluoride in it. See, there's a lot of stuff in there. We just don't look at it like that. And the fruit thereof shall be for meat. That don't mean you have to be vegetarian, and I ain't mad at nobody, though. Someone else barbecue heaven. And the leaf thereof for medicine. Now, God just showed that he done said it more than once, out of the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, let every word be established, right? So it ain't just one scripture, right?
That's right.
He said use the herb to heal yourself.
Yes.
And then he said the leaf is for medicine. So what do we use for medicine? And then we experience side effects, and who we blame?
The devil.
Oh man, someone's getting me. See, like I said, this is how we're supposed to operate in the gifts of the Spirit, right? Gift of faith, gift of healing, gift of miracles.
Yeah.
And you know, if you ain't doing it, don't blame nobody but yourself. You got to spend more time in prayer and off the internet. Live right. He'll do it for you. Okay. Then we're supposed to take this and convert it to this. Yes. And have the knowledge of how to do it on purpose in advance before an illness comes, so that you don't panic and run to the familiar ignorance.
Right.
Okay. But what we do is we go from here, we shout, speak in tongues, fall backwards, and then we go right here. And this is the lie that I'm trying to bust up in holiness. Wow. I ain't claiming it. You're a liar. Because if you taking medicine and you walking around like this, and you say it don't exist, I ain't claiming it. Wait a minute. How do we know what Jesus did in the scriptures when the healing took place? How do we know? And someone said, I got this. They wasn't like us. They claimed it. And then when the healing took place, they gave him the glory.
That's right.
What we do is we don't claim it. Then we say he healed me. Healed you of what?
Right.
I don't understand you. Oh, man.
Right.
That's why I can't be as religious. Oh, Lord, help us. All right. One of our products, a Clemson study. This is independent of us. When cancerous cells were exposed to beyond tangerine, there was a 65% reduction of cancerous colon cells, cancerous liver and stomach cells, and a 30% reduction of cancerous breast cells. And we also have a product called Selenium. Basically, there's an 82% reduction of breast cancer. Jeez. So you combine the two, you don't have to really deal with nothing. And this is what we're used to seeing. They lied to you again. This is the minerals, right? And this is the wheat, barley, rye, and the oats. Now, the rice is good, but this is the wheat, barley, rye, and the oats. If you take this and flip it upside down and remove this and put this on the bottom, this is the truth, because you need 60 minerals. That's 2/3 of your nutritional needs. They say you only need this. Now, I'm going to show you. How many people have been told that salt is bad? Yeah. Okay. If it's bad, how come the Japanese, how come? I said, how come? Why do the Japanese eat 4 times the salt that we do, and they have less cardiovascular issues than we do? Why is it that when you go to ER, they put IV on your arm, and with sodium chloride, what's that?
Salt.
They bypass your digestive system, put about 4 or 5 bags straight to your blood, and your blood pressure doesn't go up. What is that telling you? See, I didn't think of that.
That's right.
Man, I don't like you. You messing me up. I'm breaking my inertia. Okay. In order to, and they told us all this food was good, right? Wrong. See, in order to get rid of you, I have to tell you that the rat poison is good, because it has 97% good ingredients, 3% strychnine.
Oh.
See, so I got to tell you, eating wheat, barley, rye, and oats is good for you.
Yeah.
So that you can eat it.
Yeah.
So then I can move you along to my nursing home, to my hospital, and then to my cemetery that I got invested in.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm going to get you somehow.
Oh, that's good.
Then I got some false vitamin companies that drop vitamins.
Right.
You know, so I'm going to get you. See. All right.
I'll take them, bro.
This is why. The results of not eating gluten. This is what happens. If you don't eat gluten, you look like this. This is your intestinal villi. Now what happens is when you eat it, when you chew your food, it goes down into your stomach, and your stomach breaks it down and it goes to the small intestine. And then the Bible says that life is in the blood, right? We understand that from a spiritual perspective. Well, we know in Romans chapter 1, the natural and the spiritual run parallel, am I correct? God made everything to reflect. So in order for us to have the nutritional life in us, it has to get to our blood. The mechanism in which our food gets to our blood is through the villi and the microvilli. But when you eat wheat, anything made with wheat, anything made with rye, anything made with barley, or anything made with oats, this is what happens to your intestinal villi. Just think of me starting out with an afro this morning. Wow. And I ate a bunch of wheat, barley, rye, and oats, and look what happened. But this is what I need to get. If I use my hairs to get the nutrition to my blood, then I'm limited, right? A lot of it's going to pass me by. We say, Lord, don't pass me by. Okay, so this is what happens. And these are the diseases that we get when we eat wheat, barley, rye, and oats. And so this is how a lot of times I can help reverse people's illnesses just by getting them off of wheat, barley, rye, and oats, because we're bread people in America, right? All right, so if you got irritable bowel, celiac disease, Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, malabsorption of vitamins that leads to lactose intolerance, that's an inborn error metabolism in the first 91 days. If the mother doesn't have that because of eating wheat, barley, rye, and oats, then like me, I'm born with lactose intolerance. Then you need the enzymes and stuff like that. You need to eat the salt and the apple cider vinegar to raise your stomach acid to help like that. That's the offset. But the enzymes, if you got migraine, headaches, joint pain, chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, bladder issues, if you have asthma, bronchitis, allergies, muscle coordination issues, diverticulitis, leaky gut, you get the picture. Wake up. If you got any kind of thing that's going on like this, you cannot take a medicine to fix it. You can numb the problem. And you know, when you drive those old trucks, some Chevy trucks or those old trucks, you would take out the light if you needed to change the oil because you didn't want to be bothered with that irritating red light. That's what we do when we take medicines to deal with issues that we need to fix ourselves. How many people's enjoying this?
Yes.
And you ain't going to enjoy it now because I'm going to mess you up. How many people believe that olive oil is good?
Very good, yeah.
Okay, you're wrong. Oh, Lord, that's not fair. Okay, the reason why, see, this is what happened. I'm going to go back in history. During the turn of the century, 19th century, you know, during, it was like world wars and different things happening. There was a machine industry. And they used machine oil to keep the big machines lubricated and all that. But they knew that times were changing. They wanted to develop a market for the machine oil. So they tried to introduce it to the ladies. But they were making their own soaps and a lot of things we used to do for ourselves, you know. And so it didn't work. And so what happened was there was a gentleman named Ansel Keys. He sat on the board. He dealt with the American Heart Association. He was a go-between between Crisco and American Heart Association. So what he did was he told them basically that it was an advertising campaign. They paid the American Heart Association $1.7 million. Back then, that was a lot of money to say that Crisco and oils are good and butter and lard and cheese and eggs are bad. And so there's no study saying that cholesterol causes any kind of health issue. But we believe it because it was an advertising campaign. That's what we're told. And so, but what happens is when you, if we bit an apple and laid it on the counter for, let's say, an hour, it would start to turn brown, right?
That's right.
The reason why, if you understand science, you cut up an apple, put it in water, the oil will flow to the top. It's the oil that oxidizes, okay? So when it's exposed to oxygen, it oxidizes. You can see it, so no one would take rotten apple and put it in a skillet and fry something, right?
That's right.
Yeah, but we do it when we get, see you see the air right there? You don't know how long this bottle's been sitting. And so what happens, the vegetable oil is turning rancid, but until brown stuff is floating, you can't see it. So then when you superheat it, it turns to free radical damage immediately. And so it oxidizes, and then that causes free radical damage. So what we're doing is we're flooding ourselves with extra virgin olive oil free radical damage. Who wants that in their body? And that causes the inflammation, the deep vein thrombosis, the strokes, and all the different things that we're dealing with, and we don't know this. It's time to know it, ain't it? Because the butter, the lard, and all that other stuff, the eggs, and the cholesterol is actually good. Did you know that 75% of your brain is 100% cholesterol?
Man.
And if you lower your cholesterol, you're going to forget to remember that you forgot to remember. By the way, guys, and one lady here, all your hormones need cholesterol. So why do you think we have an erectile dysfunctional thing going on that's epidemical? You need cholesterol. So when you lower your cholesterol, then they have, well, you can take this to boost. See, that's the way of getting in your pocket. I just eat some eggs.
That's right.
If I throw out anything, it's going to be the white part. Give me the yolk. Give me the cholesterol. Because I want to remember, amen? And so when you join with us, we give you a good food, bad food list in your email, and you'll know what to avoid. And so if you don't, then you won't know. And so this is the best way to come in, but I'm not after folk money. I'm trying to get people understanding and educated. So I try to downsize and make sure people get what they can afford so that they can get those 90 nutrients. And we have like 25, 26 different ways of getting the 90 nutrients. This is my favorite. It's very economical. And you can get everything your body needs on a monthly basis, and you can prevent and cure, reverse up to 900 different health challenges. And so I normally do an assessment and see where people at, see what they have, and then it's over from there. How much time do I have? I don't want to go over my time.
10 minutes.
10 minutes?
10 minutes.
Oh, Lord.
2 hours.
Okay. And so there's different things. I'm going to skip over a lot of this. Now that's what you was asking me about. There is a function that we have to deal with other things as well, but
leave some time for questions.
Yeah, and so that's what I'm gonna do now. I'm gonna do a question and answer. If you have any kind of health challenges and you want to know kind of quickly. I don't know everything. I'm kind of like a non-official